So we got to go ahead and talk about this press conference that was held sometime yesterday that revealed some interesting information about the Tory Lanez Megan Thee Stallion shooting that could possibly free Tory Lanez.
Long ago, Unite the People was approached by a gentleman named Bradley James. Mr. James informed us he was working as the bodyguard and driver for Ms. Kelsey Harris during Mr. Peterson's trial. As such, he was in close proximity and he had privy to conversations she was having with her husband and others. Mr. James informed us he was not under a non-disclosure agreement or a confidentiality agreement and was free to speak with Unite the People, and that he was doing it because his conscience would not let him not speak and leave a man in prison for something he did not do. Mr. James informed Unite the People that he was witness to the conversation Ms. Harris had, where she stated she had the gun, she fired it 3 times, Mr. Peterson grabbed her arm and knocked it down, and the gun fired 2 more times. In essence, Mr. Peterson never shot anybody, never even touched that gun, never fired the gun. This statement aligns with the statement of the only non-party witness to the case, Mr. Sean Kelly, who at trial testified he saw 2 women fighting, 2 men break up the fight, 1 man grabbed the other one's arm. Gunshots came from the passenger side. Passenger side is where Ms. Harris was sitting. This further iterates that Mr. Peterson did not shoot Miss Pete, did not shoot at Miss Pete, or did not assault Miss Pete. It's just another irregularity in a list of irregularities in this case.
Now, if this is true, and this is a big old fat if, then I think that Daystar ought to be free as soon as tomorrow or today by the time you see this recording. Out of all people, who would have had the motive? And I've said this for a while now. The only person that would have had a motive to shoot Megan Thee Stallion was Kelsey Nicole, a former best friend who for what, the 3rd or 4th time had allegedly gotten with one of her significant others that she was dating or boyfriends at the time. And you would think that it would make sense for her to be the trigger person because she may have been feeling like, oh, she was sick and tired of it. And the simple fact that she got off, she was granted immunity. You mean to tell me the person with the motive, I swear, Law and Order, the TV show, could have hit Kelsey Nicole with charges better than these people did. Because what were y'all doing? And I can understand people could say, well, Kelsey wasn't on trial. But you mean to tell me that she wasn't a star suspect? The person who would have the motive to shoot versus the person who really didn't have the motive? And I'll even go a step further. I think that any prosecutor who saw Tory Lanez to be thrown underneath the jail should be reprimanded in some way, shape, or form. And what extent does that measure up to? Fines or stiffer punishments? I don't know. But it has to be something, because this was one of those high-profile cases that you as a prosecutor have to have your I's dotted and T's crossed. Because an innocent man should not have to go to prison because you didn't do a good enough job. And even if it is a smaller case, you still have to make sure you don't lock the wrong person up. Because how many times in American history has the wrong man been accused? Has the wrong man been given life sentences with no possibility of parole? Has been given sentences of 10, 15, or even 20 years. They're not even allowed to see their kids grow up. So some type of punishment ought to be inflicted on the prosecutor in question. If not the prosecutor, then possibly the law firm that he represents. But the bigger question that still remains, why would Megan cover for Kelsey Nicole? And the simple answer is, I guess, you know, as her way of saying, I'm sorry for sleeping with all the guys that you were dating, I guess. And I know people can look at Tory and be like, well, why didn't you say anything? Look, he is a rapper. He's not going to do anything because we know how, and honestly, I don't really think it applies to Tory because of the lane of music he's in. He's in that more like R&B rap, you know, category. So I don't think him being labeled as a rat would really kill his career. I mean, if Gunna could still be around and have a marvelous career after he bit the cheese, as they say, then I'm pretty sure that Daystar will be just fine. But I think everybody kind of knew that from the jump, that Tory was not going to admit anything. He was going to let the lawyers do their jobs and not say a word about this whole thing. As for what punishments that Megan could face, honestly, would I be surprised if she faces no ramifications? Nah, I wouldn't be surprised. Like the worst that they could probably do, just because you could have the right or wrong judge in seat, could be like, well, I like Megan Thee Stallion and we're only gonna sentence her to like 100 hours of community service or whatever, instead of actually having her be committed to do jail time. Do I think she deserves a little bit of jail time? Absolutely. It really ought to be the same amount of time that he was locked up. He's been locked up for what, 1.5 years now? Put her in there for 1.5 years. Like, do I think that her lying could end her career, not necessarily damage her reputation? Yes. And this is assuming that all this would be found true and can be proven true. But it has to be submitted in court too. Like, this can't just be a press conference by Unite the People to just say this and have no plans to go to the courts and try to get this whole outcome overturned. All in all, if all this is true, for one, free Tory expeditiously if it is true. Megan ought to serve some jail time because of it, and Kelsey, for damn sure, ought to get the max penalty. Like, she ought to do a lengthier sentence than Megan, if I'm being honest. Just off the fact of you being Little Weasel and just sliding under everybody's radar, somehow getting immunity granted for you when it was clear as day that you had the motive to shoot her and not Tory. I just think it's just a crazy, crazy situation, and they need to do something about it quick. With that being said, y'all let me know what you think about this in the comments below. Till next time, I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.